this is our COGS 108 project. Our research question is, among the most popular departments at UCSD, which has the most difficult majors? Our first component is to determine department popularity, which we use the rankings of the 2016 most popular departments at UCSD. And our second component is major difficulty rating, which we used CAPES data to determine using which had our CAPES data includes the courses, the number of required classes, average study hours per week, and GPA.
So for background research, it's generally assumed that STEM majors are to be found to be most difficult. And in another study, it's found that the easiest and most difficult majors are characterized more empirically by average GPA and average study hours per week. It was also found that students, particularly engineering students, gravitate towards challenging classes. Another study found that what makes a class hard is its flexibility, how rigid it is, and how cognitively complex it is. What makes a class easy is support from faculty, exam and lecture correlation, and how well the teacher can lecture. For our hypothesis, we hypothesize that the most difficult major will be STEM-based because UCSD is a STEM-based school. Particularly, math will be the most difficult, we hypothesize, while economics will be the least difficult major.
And so for our data, as previously mentioned, we gathered it from CAPES, which collects quarter, subject and class code, average study hours per week, and GPA, among other things. And we pulled this data from a set published on Kaggle and used all of the years 2018 to 2023 to be recent.
Our second source of data was the classes for each major, in which we collected and assigned a weight to them to show how it contributes to the major. The total weight for all classes of the major should be roughly equal to the number of classes for the major itself, except minus the electives because we filtered them out due to potential bias.
And so in our analysis, we graphed GPA and study hours, and you can see that off the top, COGS has the highest GPA of all the departments, and Econ has the lowest. And in terms of study hours, ECE has the highest study hours, and Psych has the lowest.
And this is just a distribution of how exactly our weights play into the total average number of classes. And the differences between the filtered weight and the total average number of classes are roughly the number of electives for each department.
And then, so to calculate difficulty, we took the hours, study hours per week divided by GPA. In other words, how many hours do you have to study in order to earn a point of GPA, and multiply it by the number of required classes for a major. And so looking at the department difficulty, or the department's difficulty of majors, we can see that ECE is the highest and international studies is the lowest.
And the following slide is the ranking of each. We ran a couple of tests to test if our median rankings were overall correct. And we see that it basically is, for the most part, with some overlap. But in general, the ranking of the median shows that one, there is difference between departments, and two, that this is the order in which it is in.
And then for the final question of whether STEM majors are more difficult than non-STEM majors, we looked at the calculated difficulty. And as you can see on the graph, STEM is much more difficult than non-STEM. And after doing some tests of statistical significance, we did find exactly that.
So in conclusion, the most difficult departments among STEM was electrical and computer engineering. For non-STEM, it was economics, while the easiest departments were mathematics and international studies. And it was also statistically significant that it matters whether a class falls under STEM or non-STEM categorization. Thank you for listening to our group presentation.